All right. So I want to tell you guys about a time where I gained so much strength as a nurse and it just really boosted my confidence as a nurse after this because I thought if I could do this, I could really do anything. It started out, I was at a brand new job and this was like a detox rehab facility. So people who are withdrawing from drugs and alcohol come here and we treat them. They stay for a certain amount of time. We help them get as good as they can be before they go to like a 90-day program and such and such. But there was one day where it was sort of like the company retreat that they do every year in September, where pretty much everyone who could go would go to like a bar, and I think it's just an excuse to have a good time and party for the nurses. To be honest, I think they talk about withdrawal a little bit, but it's kind of weird that they um, have it set at a bar. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, me as the new employee, I ended up being the one who had to or was assigned to work that day. I didn't even know it was the retreat day originally, so me all by myself was there that day, and they didn't bother to reduce the patient load. They were still taking patient after patient, knowing that I was going to be the only nurse on the floor that day. So, before I even got into work, I was anxious because I knew I was going to be the only nurse. I just knew it. My hands were sweaty. I was like throwing up before work. I'm like looking out the window on the Uber drive on the way there, just contemplating life. And oh my gosh. And of course, when I get there, you smell the sweatiness in the air and you see all the beds are full. Before you even walk on the unit through the glass, you can see the day shift nurses' faces look completely drained and like they're completely ready to get out of there, which is always a great sign. Just kidding, that's like a horrible sign. But yeah, and mind you, I haven't had more than 12 patients before at this point, and I'm brand new to the field of not necessarily nursing. I had been a nurse for a year, but bedside nursing I hadn't really done, and especially not addiction and recovery or any kind of like seizures or precip withdrawal or anything like that. I hadn't dealt with anything. So, of course, that very night, oh my gosh, my heart was just racing as it was, and I was just praying, hoping it would be a good night. And of course, I don't know. So, what ended up happening was all of the patients needed something all at the same time. So it's just chaos and screaming and yelling and everyone running around. The CNA's running around all over the place, can't really help me, and I'm drowning because I have to pass meds to 20 people who have a lot of medications, and I have to do 20 assessments. No one else there can do assessments besides the nurse. And vital signs, helping out with the vital signs because the techs are overwhelmed. And almost immediately, when I get on shift, this woman goes into precip withdrawal. She starts having bad symptoms. I give her some medication. Well, I call the doctor, and the doctor recommends this certain medication that I give to her. It's not working. I continue to give her more medication from the doctor's advice. The CNAs are freaking out and running all over the place. They're asking me, what should we do? What should we do? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm the one in charge, so I have to, and at this point, the woman is the symptoms are getting so bad that she is jolting in place, basically, just jolting in one spot. Oh, and that to the point where the CNAs are on either side of her with a pillow trying to keep her contained so she doesn't fall off the bed because of how bad her body was reacting. And it was like, Ativan, we called 911, of course, and they just weren't taking it seriously and they wouldn't come. And oh my God, I'm just sitting there panicked at the nurse's station, feeling completely helpless. Ugh. And imagine that for 12 hours. You're just on pure adrenaline, feeling nothing you're doing is helping, and you have 19 other people who need help. And oh my God, I was like, how am I gonna do this? How? I'm brand new. I'm new. Like, what the hell? But I don't know. Somehow I made it through. I ended up calling the doctor at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning when this was first started happening. And because The 911 dispatchers weren't taking us seriously. EMS, they weren't taking us seriously, and they wouldn't send somebody to come help this lady and take her to the hospital. So I had to do everything I could in that moment, which was everything. Throwing drugs at her, talking to her, just anything. It was, oh my God, it was horrible. And it still gives me anxiety to this day. I mean, whenever I go before a shift, I get so worried, but then I think if I could do that kind of work with 20 patients and one of them going through a medical crisis, then I can do anything. But anyways, long story short, the doctor showed up at 4 a.m, pissed at 911 for not taking it seriously and actually getting this lady help on her birthday, by the way. It was a whole mess. It was just exhausting. The CNAs were holding up pillows for hours trying to keep this lady contained. She was miserable. Nothing was helping. It felt like, if anything, it made it worse. I was so ready to clock out, and I had to stay there a couple hours later because of all the charting I ended up having to do and all the meds I couldn't pass because I had to deal with this sort of situation. Oh my God. When I clocked out, I gave myself a breakfast sandwich reward. I just deserved it. And then, of course, the nurses come in with an attitude, acting like everything should be perfect when I just went through such a traumatizing shift. They don't really care. They're like, ugh. It's like, I've been by myself with 20 patients all night dealing with a medical crisis. And of course, they don't care. So that was my sign, one of my signs to quit that job. And I did, so. But yeah, that definitely traumatized me, for sure. So I'm a lot careful of jobs now. Usually the higher they pay, the bigger the red flag is. So I tend to stick to jobs that are chill, because I don't need to be doing that to my nervous system that often, okay?